Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we're going to be talking about corner radius animation. And basically, corner radius is another animatable property. And you can basically not only define the corner radius, but you can actually make a rectangle into a circle by setting the corner radius for it and interpolate between those values. Okay, so that's going to be one thing that we're going to be covering in this. And the other animatable property that we're going to cover is going to be scale effect, including scale effect over the anchor. Okay, so those two examples, we're going to see how we can actually animate them using their animatable properties, or how animation basically react to those properties. Okay, so let's start with the corner radius. All right. Okay, so I'm going to change this to corner radius animation, and I'm going to copy and paste. I should have used a refactor, but anyhow, let's go ahead and create, or basically I'm going to copy paste our timer and a private variable. And basically, first one is our good old timer publisher. The second one is basically a flag value that's gonna help us round the corners for the corner radius. Okay, so we're gonna use this boolean type, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a VStack, and I'm gonna put a text together. All right, so what we are doing here specifically is we are setting a background for this text view. And we're saying the background is going to appear in a rounded rectangle, but by no means it's a round, because we are saying that corner radius is going to be round, or it's going to basically change when the rounded corner is actually true. Right now it is false, so that's why we have, like, on the false value we are saying the corner radius is going to be 0, but when this becomes true, which we can do like that, it's basically gonna round by 100 points. Now, the overall frame size is 200 points, and if you half that, basically come to land a value of 100, that's what basically would make this rectangle a circle, because all the corners are meeting, like, midway. So you have your half of your, arc meeting here, half of your arc meeting here, so all the corners are meeting, at this perfect angle where it's forming a circle. So half of your square makes, for the corner radius, makes a circle. All right, that's a trick that you can apply for your views as well. Now we are changing it, rather manually, so let's go ahead and animate. So add the animation on this. We're gonna add a spring animation, damping fraction 0.3, and we are going to give this value a rounded corner, which is the value over which we are animating. And we're gonna subscribe to the timer publisher by saying timer perform, and basically we're gonna say rounded corner dot toggle. So every second the value is gonna be toggled. So as you can notice that our animation has sort of like a bounce effect, but it's actually changing its radius over time, over a second. Now the jump that you're seeing is because of the damping fraction. If I increase that, you're gonna basically see a much smoother curve animation, basically, that's going back and forth. Or you can actually make it rather bouncy, which looks kind of weird, but I kind of like it. Okay. All right, so that's your corner radius animation. That's how you can change your corner radius and animate basically between values. Let's go ahead and take a look at scale effect animation. So I'm going to create a view, scale effect animation, and we're going to basically use scale effect animation rather than corner radius animation. I'm going to comment this one out so it's there for you when you look at the code. Now, another way we can change views size other than basically the frame is by scaling it up or down. Okay, so you can change the views frame to make it big, basically the overall views space that it's taking. Okay, that's not gonna zoom the view, though. Okay, now scale is a little bit different. Okay, it applies differently on different views. For example, if you scale a rectangle, changing the size of rectangle, meaning changing the frame of rectangle, will give you the same effect as the scale effect, with there are some very minute differences. Okay, but scale animation applies to the entire view. So if your view has a text view nested under, like, inside, and if you apply a scale animation, everything is gonna either scale up or scale down depending upon what you're trying to do. For the frame, you have basically, whenever you apply a frame, increase or decrease the frame, is just the outer boundary or the container that actually takes the effect. So scale is in some ways different for some views it's gonna look pretty same. But the topic that we are discussing is a scale effect, changing the view by scaling it up or down. And those properties are also animatable because they conform to Animatable protocol. Okay, and that's why we can animate or interpolate between different scale values using animation modifier. Let's go ahead and take a look at an example. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a state property called selected. All right, and we're going to have 4 circles or 3 circles on the screen, and what we're going to do is we're going to just draw them right now. So I'm going to have a circle with foreground style. It's going to be color.red.gradient. All right, let's give it a frame. By adjusting just the height of the circle, the entire thing is going to shrink, basically because it's a square. Circle's frame is a square, so setting 1 is going to scale the whole circle down or up. We're going to apply the scale effect, and we're going to say if the selected is equal to 0, okay, then set the scale to 1, otherwise reduce it down to 0.5. So as you can see, right now it's 0.5 because what we have selected is -1. It's not 0. Okay, you can use tag on the alternate as an alternate for the logic, but I'm using just a scale effect and selected value. Now I'm gonna add on tap gesture. I'm gonna say selected, change that to 0 whenever you tap on this circle. Okay, so if I tap once, I'm gonna see basically this circle basically scaling up to its full scale. All right, 1 means full scale, 0.5 means half of its scale value of the original value, 2 is like, double, triple, 3 is triple, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. I'm gonna draw another circle. This circle is gonna be orange in color, and we're gonna say when the value is 1, selected value is 1, then increase its size and also change the selected value. So as you can see, now they can basically, you can flip-flop between them. So one is going to go back to 0.5, half of its scale size, and another one is going to basically get its full scale. Let's go ahead and drop another one. And this one is going to be a green color with selected value as 2. All right. So we have basically this 3 buttons going basically scale up and down. Okay. Now the whole thing we can animate using animation modifier, once again, because scale effect is defined as animatable modifier. So we would be able to basically add a spring animation. Let's add damping fraction of 0.3 on this, and we're gonna basically say that animation is gonna take over the selected value. Now with that change, let's go ahead and tap on this, and as you can see, our animations are nicely basically scaling up and down with a really cool damping fraction. All right, so this is basically how you actually scale your values, animate your scale effects up and down. Now, scale effect provides an anchor. Now, when the scale effect modifier is applied on the view, it scales from center. But with the help of scale effect anchor, we can actually change the location from which the view can scale. All right, and that's what anchor's responsibility is. Now we're gonna basically change the position or the anchor at which it's gonna scale up by setting the anchor property, and we're gonna say we're gonna start anchoring. We're gonna anchor this or scale this from top. Okay, and you're gonna see, like, you know, how things are gonna change as we define the anchor. We're gonna set the other one for, like, the orange one for the bottom, and for the green one as the leading. Okay, so it's gonna go on the side a little, because now your anchor point is right here. For the bottom, your anchor point is right in the, like, you know, in the bottom, and this one is at the top. Now if you tap on these, you can see they are basically growing or scaling up from the points of anchors that we have defined. All right, now we can turn these into a sort of like a different effect. So let's do this. Let's set the green color one. Let's set an offset. I'm gonna set an offset for X and Y. So for the X is gonna be -50, and Y is gonna be -160. Okay, so it's gonna sort of move up a little bit. Let's see. Well, yeah, that should be okay. What we're gonna do is, so we've got red, orange, and we've got green. Let's add one more. Okay, and this one is going to have 50 point for the X, and Y is going to be 265. Let's put it as negative value. Okay. All right, and then let's change the color to blue, and yeah, let's change the color to blue and selected value to 3, because we already have selected value 2. All right, wait, it's not looking the way I wanted it to look. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so let's do this. Let's set the offset after the scale. All right, that's gonna make it move up, and we're gonna do the same thing for this one. And this is another accidental good example of how these ordering actually matter a bit. Okay, so now we have these, and let's say for the blue one, the anchor, I'm gonna set it as trailing. Okay, so it moves side a bit, and now we have like, you know, these 4 circles, sort of like, you know, equal distance to each other, and we can actually tap on them and create this really cool animation. Now you can turn this into a loading bar. Okay, so if you want to have like, you know, a loading bar and you want to animate between these 3 values, all you gotta do is basically get to put our good old timer publisher every second on main loop using common. Okay, and let's go ahead and auto connect. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave our on tap, or let's take out on tap, because it's going to be a loading animation kind of a thing. So I'm going to remove this. Okay, and we're going to cycle through these values or between these values using on receive. So on receive, and I'm going to say timer publisher, and we're going to say if the selected value is given, basically increase the selected value plus equal 1. If the selected goes more than 4, then bring it back to 0. All right, and with that change, let's go ahead and see. Okay, so our ordering is going to be slightly different. We're going to do 0, 2, 1, and 3. Let's see if that actually makes it go around. Yeah, so that's how you can actually create like, you know, a custom loading animation just by modifying or playing around with these values. All right, with that, we have reached the end of this video as well, where you learned about ScaleAnimation using ScaleAnimation, ScaleAnchor, and also you learned about CornerRadius animations. All right, this is it for this video. Thank you so much once again for watching, and I will see you guys in another video. Thank you.